Welcome to the family with
Co-host Catherine Brandt.
Andy Brandt Bernard.
And Kristen Burt.
today's show brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. So what's the latest? That's what I want. Catherine and I have seen a couple of movies since we went on vacation.
What did you
Or TV
see?
shows, not movies, but TV shows.
I was going to say, what have we seen?
Yeah, we saw some TV shows. So what's happening with you, Kristen Burt?
I feel like we've been gone for like a month. I don't
It
know
does
why.
feel like a month.
There was a lot going on, I feel like, in the whole week we were gone. And it's been busy. So what did you guys watch?
We tried Mobland last night, but
I lasted 10 minutes.
you couldn't
Oh,
take the
really?
accents.
The
The
accent
what?
is really interesting because what I think is so fascinating is that Pierce and Helen Mirren got together, did their like pre-show, pre-production like work that great actors do. You know, like hey, this is
Right.
what we're gonna do. These are our accents. So they're like, we're gonna do like a South of London accent. That's what it's going to be. They get to the set. Pierce Brosnan meets up with Guy Ritchie, the director, of course, and is like, and Guy's like, I don't want you to do a South of London accent. You're going to do your Irish accent.
Oh.
15 minutes before cameras start rolling. So all of a
Really?
sudden he's got a scene with Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan starts speaking in his Irish accent. She goes, "We're Irish now?" She had no idea.
Well, see, there you go. So it didn't work for her or them either.
So, well, and Guy Ritchie is known. I don't if you followed some of his projects and saw some of the interviews. He is known for changing things up and keeping actors on their toes. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, like when he stepped on set, he's like, "We're going to do this monologue today. It's not in the script, but we're going to do this instead." Like he really keeps actors like they have to be super sharp. You can't just be like rolling in hungover or anything else like that because you never know what he's going to deliver.
Right.
It's hard to believe that Guy Ritchie was married to Madonna. And what was he thinking?
I actually think Madonna questions marrying Guy Ritchie. They're equally as problematic.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't know that much about him, really.
Remember when Warren Beatty made a fool of himself following Madonna around? Oh, God, that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Truth or Dare, that documentary still stands the test of time. And
Oh,
watching Warren Beatty, like asking her, and it was a legitimate question, asking her, like, why do you need to live on camera all of the time? You know, and we see that now in reality shows. So she was actually ahead of her time with all of this.
That's true.
And then to see Kevin Costner come backstage, and he probably had brought his kids at the time, and he's like,
Yeah.
my kids thought your show was neat. And she's like, neat? Anyone who calls my show neat has gotta go. But I was like, that is totally a word that Kevin Costner would use. He's kind of this old fashioned, and that's in his vocabulary.
Well, you know, that stuff does happen. And Kristen, I'm sure your husband's been through it, and I've been through it with literally, honest to God, we had dinner several years ago with some friends who had never met Catherine. And so I showed up for the dinner first. Catherine had something else to do. She was going to meet us about a half an hour later. And so we're sitting there talking, and where's that Golden Valley? You remember Golden Valley, don't you? Golden Valley golf course. But in any case, we're all sitting there having dinner, and Catherine comes in and sits down, and the guy sitting next to me looks at her and looks at me like this, right? And I said, "What?" And he goes, "That's your wife?" I said, "Yeah, it's my wife." "She married you?" And I'm like, "Oh, Thank you so much. Remember that, Catherine?
Still to this day.
Yeah,
every day.
still to this day she
Compliment
remembers
to
it.
her. Yeah.
Well, it's a huge compliment to her, but it's like, the hell did she marry you for? Thanks, pal.
You know you married up, Tom. Come on.
Well, I know I married up. I mean, that's not even the question, but to be insulted in public about it, I don't know about that. Is that necessary?
Well, I think since you bring it up, it's kind of a source of pride for you.
Oh, listen to her now. I'm a source of you're a source of pride for me.
Yeah, you like compliments like that.
You've got a babe. Come on.
It's a babe, actually.
Yeah,
Well, does your husband realize that, Kristen Burt?
All the time.
Okay,
His
well, I
family, family says all the time that because they're very creative, they're very artsy, and I was like the type A student. They're like, we can't believe we have a valedictorian finally in the family.
Well,
And listen,
see?
I can't rest on a high school laurel. That's ridiculous, but it's
Yeah.
really funny
That
because
is
I don't
funny.
think about it at all, but they sure do.
They do. People really do. There's no question about that. It just, It's absolutely amazing. It's like, what the hell did you marry you for? It's why did you? It's like, shut up. We've been together, what, 45 years now, I think. We've been together.
Don't
A
bring it up.
long
Yes,
time.
Catherine was only 5 years old when I met her. That one shouldn't want me to throw that in there, too. That
No,
sounds
'cause that's
obnoxious.
Don't do
really-
the Bill Belichick math.
No.
Have you seen the Bill Belichick and his girlfriend?
No.
She's 24. She just turned 24 last week.
Oh.
Not 34, 24. And
Yeah.
there's a 49-year age gap.
Ew, that's so gross. We were just privy to an NFL event at our beach club
yeah,
that we belong to.
yeah.
And
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the and this was just like managers,
Head coaches.
head coaches,
things
you
like
know,
that, yeah.
brass. You know, it wasn't any players, but still, it was like, oh my God, these women look like they go into the factory. They come out. I
That's
got the
nice.
boobs. I got the this. I got the
There's
that.
the
You know.
blue, lots of
Yeah.
makeup, really like the hair is
Yep.
done. You'd
Yep.
never show up like little beachy
No.
waves, something cute. No.
No, Fendi, dripping Fendi or Chanel or this to jump in a pool. Bedazzled things. You know, it's just like, okay.
The other thing I will say.
Yeah, it was, and some of the age disparities, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that must be his
Yep.
daughter or granddaughter. Nope. Nope.
Girlfriend.
It's gross. It's
and that
gross.
whole like sugar baby, sugar daddy situation,
Yeah.
it's real. I
It's
mean, that's how
real.
girls
It
are like,
is.
I'm going to get my bag.
Yep.
No, it's true.
I know, but I can't imagine having to do that for a bag.
I also I personally don't want to have a conversation with like a 20-year-old guy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
you have nothing in common.
I mean, I have small chats with young men in the elevator all the time, but it's like an elevator ride.
Yeah.
You're like, hey,
Yeah.
nice weather.
Nice dog. What's your dog's name? You know, that kind of stuff. And they're always very nice, but to have to sit down and have a dinner conversation?
I would
And
say
she
this.
has Bill doing like, you know, when you lie on your back and then like airplane, you know what I mean? And then they jump on your feet.
Yeah.
So Bill's like on his back on the beach and his girlfriend is like flying on his feet.
God.
And
Gross.
it's so cringe. I'm glad he's healthy. That's good that he's in shape. We applaud all of that, but
Right.
some of like the cringe social media things that they do, but they don't care. She always like triples down on it and says, "I don't care what you think about my love for a man who's old enough to be my grandfather."
Well, there is
Sure,
that.
you
and-
don't.
Yeah, we knew a woman in Minneapolis that was married to somebody, at least 50 years older than her. And they, and it ended up, of course, her suing him for all the money that he promised her and,
Right.
sue. Nothing says love like a lawsuit.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll close with this. When the kids all came down, the entire family was together for 1 week. It was really true. Well, the entire family was together for 3-4 days. Andy came early, then Alex came later, and then Andy went home, and Alex stayed later. But we were all there for like 3-4 days at the same time. It was a wonderful, wonderful time to see everybody. The kids loved it. I guess Ethan is complaining he wants to come back to Florida. Is that
Oh
right?
God, yeah, he's not happy about being home.
And he wanted
Yeah.
to go down early. He's like, let's just go to Florida already.
Yeah.
Once
Said
you
today he
expose
wants-
them to warm weather in the winter,
Yeah.
it is game over because
Yep.
I never
That's-
went back to Massachusetts or New York or any of that.
I don't think it's
That's-
even about
yep.
the warmth because yesterday we played at the park for like an hour. It was like 6:30. Sun was setting. It wasn't particularly warm, but he played at the park. He didn't want to go. So he doesn't really care. And when I was a kid, I really didn't care about cold either. As long as I was appropriately dressed, I'd stay out in the cold for hours.
I know, but he got
just-
to jump in a
it's-
pool, go to the beach.
Yeah, there's swimming, there's the
Yeah.
beach, there's Nana and
fun.
Bop Bop, there's the ball machine over at the dinosaur exhibit. There's
Yep.
the
Warm
play
weather
area.
year round is easier with kids. It just is because
It
you're not
is.
putting
Yeah.
on the
Very true.
snowsuits and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll close part one with this. We were there, and I don't remember who was still there. I think Alex and her family were still here. You had gone home already, Andy. We went down took the kids to the beach, to the swimming pool, and all that stuff to have a really good time and all the rest of it. And again, I'm not being negative about this, whatever, but you just don't see it in Minnesota. You just never see this in the summertime when they're at the pool. There was a woman at the pool. She had blonde hair in a ponytail. She was wearing a very, very tiny bikini. Top and bottom was very, very tiny.
Itsy bitsy.
And she was, and I'm being complimentary, at least 85 years old.
Yeah. Every so often you see like these very
Europeans
old
do that.
women who clearly got a boob job like 50 years ago,
Yeah.
but the shape hasn't changed, so it looks like there's just like two perfect spheres attached. to
Right.
it.
That's what this was.
It's
Yeah.
like get it updated or something. It just looks so weird.
Well, the technique has changed too.
That's
so if they
true,
haven't had a
too.
replacement,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they have to replace those things.
I would assume so.
Yeah, they do. Like every 15 years, I think you have to have them replaced.
Yeah, and not everyone does, and then they wind up with
Leaking.
situations.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
And we got to go to break here, but I would say this. I'm being complimentary by thinking she's about 85.
Oh.
She might have been a little older than
Hey,
that.
no,
Well,
and-
now,
and
before the
when you're
sun really
85
ages people, though.
When
It
you're
does.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
85.
true.
Who cares what you're doing?
She's allowed
Well,
to rock her
exactly.
bikini at 85.
true.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Take a very quick break. But, I got my first complaint. Why do you run so many commercials on your show? I said, in an hour and 15 minutes, we run like 7 commercials.
Yeah.
Maybe 8. When I was at KQRS, there were 7 commercials per break. Like,
Well,
Jesus.
I mean, growing up watching TV, there was 8 minutes of commercials per half an hour of television.
Right.
Yeah, that's
You know,
right.
yeah.
The
if
show
you,
is free. Show is free.
Yeah, the show is
Exactly.
free. Exactly.
There
It's
you
that,
have
or you
it.
pay a subscription for it, and I don't think you want to be doing that.
Yeah, you don't want you paying for it. We got to make some dough doing it, but we don't want you paying for it. We'll handle that. Let's take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Kristen Burt will tell us what the hell's going on in Hollywood with 85-year-old women with boob jobs and blonde hair.
Well, that's all over the place in LA.
Probably true. We'll be right back.
From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they should be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands free, but you can't have your phone in your hand for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
North American Banking Company. When I say my bank, I don't own it, but Catherine and I keep our money there. That's what I mean by my bank. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. And as you know, I don't call somebody my friend if they're not really my friend. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people who know you by name and actually care about your finances, not some AI chatbot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And the baby looks around him and shares his fellow with a fellow.
We are back. Kristen Burt, Hollywood News. What's going on in Hollywood, Kristen?
I think the big news last week was the loss of Val Kilmer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Yep.
He had overcome cancer, and so I think a lot of people thought he was at least better. But it turns out he had really lived his last few years just really in a lot of pain and suffering, and he died from pneumonia in this situation. But
How old was he?
65,
Yep.
he's young.
Yeah.
I was very lucky. I had him on the KQ Morning Show once. Could not have been a nicer guy. Very nice guy.
Interesting, because he was known as a very difficult person
I
on
know.
set, challenging
I
to work
know.
with.
Yeah, I remember
It's funny. Now we're going back. Let me just try and think of the year. I'm going to say it's 20 years ago at least. I was working as a media representative at the Kodak Theater, now known as the Dolby Theater, where the Oscars are. And when the Oscars weren't there, they did a show called The 10 Commandments starring Val Kilmer.
Oh,
He
yeah.
never bothered to learn his lines. Never bothered.
God.
So they had a teleprompter running constantly during the show, but there were times when his eye line would need to be away from the teleprompter, which was at the back of the theater. And so there were cue cards and index cards like all over the stage at different heights to match wherever he was on the set, because there were levels and things like that.
Right,
And
right.
years later, even because I was there probably 2 or 3 years after that show had been there, the cue cards were still like stuck up like on the ceiling or on like this side, like the scrim thing. You would just find them in the most unusual places, and they'd be like, "Oh, Val's 10 Commandments," you know.
I just like to
script.
imagine like they're doing a scene where they gotta like show him an important document. It's like, you know, from a spy or something like that, and they hand it to him, and he goes like, and on it it just says, "Look surprised."
Well, and if
This is a
you're doing
very
a
surprising
show,
document.
the show was there like a year. I'm like, wouldn't you know your lines after a year? You hope, right?
You would hope.
No, but and we would find like at one point, one of my coworkers at the time had been there when the show was running. They were even taped to the floor at certain points if you had to be like on the floor for
Oh, yeah, sure.
terrible.
Did he have some cognitive problems or something going on? Because that doesn't sound like.
It was at a
Normal.
time, I think, when his career was like in a lull, and I just think he
Yeah.
took it as a cash grab, like let's pay the bills and everything else. And
But wouldn't
I
you
don't think
just
he was-
know the lines after 6 months?
You would think.
Yeah.
I just think he just wasn't invested in the project. It was like one of those BG, Max Azria, you know, the fashion line. They invested in this project, so I feel like it was a pet project of a fashion designer. And of course, he did all the costumes, and they're like, we need a big name, and they managed to get Val. Like he just, it was a strange project to begin with. So
Oh, okay.
Who's the guy? Is there one person now like the Val Kilmer of the world? Which, again, I was shocked when he was on my show. He was very, very nice, and we had a good time and all the rest of it. He didn't have to learn any lines to be on my show, so maybe that was part of it.
He's just a great actor. I mean, go and watch
Yeah, he
The
was.
Doors and Top Gun, and I mean, he had a lot of fantastic performances over the
Wasn't he
years.
in a Western that you loved a lot?
Wyatt Earp.
He was
Yes.
in Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you loved
Wyatt
that
Earp.
movie. I think you watched that
I-
like 5 times.
I thought he was a terrific actor. I really liked him. He just had a really couple of movies at the end where he had the really thick tongue that made me very sad. When he can't talk like this. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
he had a lot of
God.
problems with his vocal
did,
cords after his
yeah.
cancer battle, and he
What kind of
really
cancer did he
kept.
have?
You know,
Let's see if
I
can-
want to say throat cancer,
Yeah, I think that's
but
right.
I don't know what specifically type. What
Yep.
type of? Yeah.
Throat cancer. He had tracheal procedure, which damaged his vocal cords.
Right. Yep.
And then, and then 2 tracheotomies. So the
Yeah,
last 10 years of his life, his throat
They
barely
were
worked.
tough. And he kept a lot of his battle private, and he dated, we've been speaking about age gap relationships. He dated Cher for a very long time.
He did?
Cher, he did.
know that.
And listen, I have nothing but nice things to say about Cher. She helped him while he was in recovery. He lived at her house. And I also have another friend who was recovering from brain cancer. She was Cher's choreographer. She recovered at Cher's house. Like Cher got all of the specialists in to like come and take care of her while she battled brain cancer. And
Well,
she's
that's very
healthy and
nice.
fine. So that's 2 people that Cher has taken care of during a difficult time in their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, I don't know, it's one of those situations with, Sonny died like in a skiing accident or something too,
Yep.
didn't he?
Yeah.
He did on the ski slopes.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a long time ago. I remember I was
Yeah.
a kid when that happened, right?
That was in the 90s, if I'm
Yeah.
remembering correctly. And then his wife, Mary, took over his seat in the House of Representatives.
It was 1998.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, I was only 11 years old when that happened.
98, man.
Yeah, it's a long time ago now.
So
Yeah.
is there someone now that's the leave me alone, I don't want to learn my lines, just kind of a pain in the ass to work with? Or are there many of them now?
I'm guessing there's many.
Probably true.
I don't think that there's space for that as much anymore because
Well, good.
jobs are harder to come by. And
True.
Everyone is fighting for a job. I cannot believe like how many celebrities now are like, I'm starting a podcast. I've got an alcohol line. I'm promoting this product. I'm doing a commercial. They are struggling just as much as anyone else is. I mean, sure, there's the top tier, the A+ that made their millions back when they were getting those back end points, like a Tom Cruise and stuff like that. But if you were looking at the actors that are, let's say, young millennials, Gen Z, or anything else like that, or an actor that's like Gen X or Boomer that hasn't worked in a while, they are doing whatever they can for cash.
Well, it's interesting because the millennials wanted to tear down all constructs, and now there's a lot of prices to be paid for doing that.
Yeah.
So,
Constructs.
yeah.
She goes constructs.
Like,
like studios, and
oh, yeah.
yeah, that
That's
kind
true.
of stuff. Yep.
Well, it's tech that disrupted the
That's true.
studio system for sure here in
Yeah.
Los Angeles. And we had a big rally yesterday, Stay in LA. They're really trying hard. They're trying to up that tax incentive that Gavin Newsom just gave to California. If they can get it higher, it will only help. And there are some filmmakers and television showrunners who are really committed to trying to keep their production in Los Angeles. Because, you know what, honestly, nobody wants to go to Atlanta for 6 months and shoot a film. Not that Atlanta isn't great, but you're away from your family and your pets
Right.
and everything else like that.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
Are the tariffs, does that have anything to do with distribution of film and all the rest of it? I assume it would have to Canada and Mexico and everywhere, actually.
Everywhere, China. It is going to impact everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're also going to we're having visa issues with some artists coming into the country. Yeah, we have Coachella happening, which is arguably one of the biggest
Right.
music festivals in the U.S. And FKA Twigs was not able to get her visa in time and had to cancel. She was a headliner. And so they're having to replace her. And we are probably going to see other artists have similar issues and won't be able to make it to the U.S. in time for some of their dates. And she had an FKA Twigs, to throw this out there, she had an entire North American tour planned. But because touring is so expensive and that the dates you go to and how you go there tied to Canada and Mexico and the US, it's not economically feasible to just go to Canada and then Mexico because it's all tied into your America,
Right.
US dates too. So this could be a huge blow to the music industry as well.
God, it's just that's a tough road to hoe. There's no. How does it affect? Does it affect as a person who's lived in California for a long, long time in the Los Angeles area? Is it affecting Los Angeles as a city? It's got to be, I would assume.
It definitely is. I mean, we've been feeling it too. We came out of the pandemic. We went into strikes. Now we have this issue. It's going to be a really tough road. And Sunset Strip over the last 4 to 6 weeks, 5 major restaurants or venues have closed.
Oh God!
Sunset Strip. And and this is the other issue. We rely on entertainment and we rely on tourism. Tourism is
Yeah,
already
yep.
down. So they're saying tourism to the US is down 20% since January.
They didn't close Catherine's favorite $10 lobster place. I hope
No, that's still open. That's
that's
good.
still open.
Well,
I'm
the
glad to
tariffs
hear it.
don't even take place until the 9th of April.
Well, that's 2 days. Yeah.
I know, but they haven't even
Wednesday.
taken place yet. So
Oh, okay.
people
A lot of it
closing
is-
down preemptively.
A lot of well, I would say a lot of the restaurant issue comes out of the strike and into the issue that production has left Los Angeles. So a lot of the people coming to Los Angeles have left. Tourism for us, a lot of it relates to just the administration. Some people don't want to feel, they hear whatever's happening on social media and maybe they're thinking, I'm not safe coming to visit. People are canceling their vacations here.
That's unfortunate. Well, I'm glad that you didn't leave us during that.
I'm here.
It
I'm
seemed
in
like
Los
a long
Angeles.
week. It did, didn't it?
I just think that the news cycle was heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't have this every morning, and I was like, this 1 week felt like 16 weeks.
It kind of did. It's absolutely weird that way. But we will talk to you tomorrow again, I assume.
I will be here tomorrow, bright and early.
Sounds great. Kristen Bird, Entertainment News, brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We'll take a break. Be right back. Bob Sansevier. Bob will be ready to go. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
Let's talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th and France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, You'll always find real people who know you by name and actually care about your finances, not some AI chatbot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that can only occur at a community bank. It's the only a community bank can offer, is a good way to put it. So why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Never seen you looking so bad, my funky one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sands Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Is Bob not quite ready to go?
Whether he comes on is going to be a bit iffy. Because he has a doctor's appointment at 10:45.
Oh, God.
Known as 15 minutes ago. But he said he's going to try to do it from the waiting room because doctors are always late. So we'll see
come
how
on.
that
Oh,
goes.
can he ever just sit down? No.
No.
Who's saying, well, what about Mary? She's around. We'd rather have her on anyway.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. We could try to get her on.
Oh, it's up to you.
I had a request, Tom, from somebody on X saying
Oh,
Oh, there's Bob.
there
he
is.
wanted Ruth Kozlak on.
God, I wonder if I could track down Ruth. I'd have Ruth on. Absolutely.
Bob might know her.
Who's
Jesus,
Ruth?
Bob, nice camera angle. You look like a hitman.
I'm not a.
You're at the doctor's office and he's late. Is that what you're saying?
The doctor's office.
Always. It could be hours.
Always, yes.
Could be
Hours. That's not. Maybe it's time
Honestly,
for a new doctor.
there have been times it has been.
Oh, I hate
You know, let me,
that.
I'm gonna actually. If they call for me, can you let me know?
It's. You
I don't want
what
to do it
love
in the
about-
waiting room. I'm out in the. I stepped out into the little ante room.
There we go.
Oh, the ante room, yeah.
There's doctor. His name is. She's really great doctor. Delivered all 5 kids.
Oh,
Sheldon
wow.
Burns, phenomenal. But
Oh, nice.
he loves to chat, and so it's not like he's just going in and prescribing meds.
Yeah.
Oh,
He talks to all of his patients ad nauseum.
oh. So,
Now,
but
when
show up
you
an hour
say-
late.
When you say Ruth
Uh,
Kozlak, do you mean the wife of John Kozlak?
Is
Do I
Ruth
need-
Kozlak still around?
I don't know.
If you
She
do
was a-
mean the wife of John Kozlak, Jack
She-
Kozlak?
She had a radio show that she
Yes.
sold. Yeah.
CCO. Then she went to, what is it? What was that state?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, Bob froze up. There we go. Now you're back.
I'm pretty sure the Ruth that you're talking about died in 2021.
Really?
Well, that's going to be hard to
Yeah,
get her on the
Seems to
podcast.
be. This might be a different Ruth Kozlak, but
How old was she?
she was 91.
No, she wasn't 91.
She wasn't
no
born in
way.
1930, because that's the
No.
one I found. But there's a visitation in Minneapolis, so
Well, there's a lot of Kozlaks in Minnesota, so
It's not, well, she was on the radio when I started at KQ in the
She was,
late
yeah.
80s. She's been on a long time. That could have been her.
oh, could have been her.
WCCO. Let's see, does her obituary say anything about
Yeah,
WCCO?
yeah something about radio for sure.
It's a very generic obituary.
That's weird.
God,
The door
no.
apparently they've got poltergeist coming into the office.
Well, it's a little late.
Or
for
I
me to
leaned
get
on the
in,
button. I think that's what happened.
One of the
Oh.
great things I loved about Ruth Kozlak was, well, let me just tell you a story this afternoon here at WCC. She had the most interesting voice. I never met her in person, but But I always listened to her. I thought she was interesting to listen to.
Like
It
Julia
does sound like a
Child.
91-year-old woman, so
Well, that's true.
You don't need Ruth Kozlak. Tom could just do her.
yeah, there you go.
You could just pretend to interview her.
Yeah, there you go. I could interview
Yeah,
myself. That's
apparently
exactly right.
she was one of the first people that she started a radio show and sold it to other stations.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
She was
she's
ahead of her time. She was syndicating
then.
herself.
Nice.
Good job, Ruth.
And Andy, could you just enter in Ruth Kozlak WCCO?
That's what I did, and that's the
Oh.
first thing I found was this
Well, then
obituary.
maybe that was her. I didn't think she
If I
was
don't
older.
in
Oh,
the
then
chat
I think that was
thing-
probably her because she's probably the only one that would come up.
Well, my
She was that
apologies to
old?
our listener. We can't get her on.
No, we cannot. If she's dead,
Never
it's gonna
say
be very
never.
difficult.
Well, there are
We'll have,
people who channel the dead.
Yeah, we'll have Dave come in.
If you
Dave
want
Schrader.
one of them.
You can do a seance. or
Yeah, Dave
whatever.
Schrader can do a seance. That's very,
Yeah.
very true. Did you see the picture that his lovely wife sent out, our buddy? A picture of him. He looks like a mob hitman in the latest picture. It's
Who?
like, good God.
Of
Dave
Dave?
Schrader.
Oh.
Oh, does he?
Yes, he does. Oh God, he does. He looks like, well, don't piss him off because he'll have you shot in the street.
And speaking of listeners, we ran into some listeners on the street down here in West
We
Palm
did.
Beach, and guess who they recognized first?
Jude?
Jude.
Jude, absolutely right.
She's like,
Right?
she's like, I recognize Jude. And I thought, oh, that's Catherine.
But she's always poking her head in the studio.
That was so great. Well, Riverfall. Well, Bob, you know, we were talking
that
about
was
she
funny.
she did. She's one of the first people to do what you do. You're on several different radio stations, are you not?
Yes, actually, it's fortunately around the state.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, as a matter of fact, somebody called me about doing that. Do you think I should do that?
I don't know why you wouldn't.
But then, is it a lot of work?
No, you
Make
just
Bob
have to-
do it.
you
Well,
just
how do you
send it
reach out to them? If I
uh,
did it myself, how would I even reach out to them?
Well, Tom, you just reach out to them. You just all I do every day. I do my show, and you can get it in podcast form or the stations. I just get the emails of the program directors or the people they want it sent to, and I send it to them. You just have the email string. It's very easy. I do that with my show and the Jim Bob Sports Jam that I do with Chuck Foreman and
With Chuck Foreman, yeah.
Rich, and Mike Morris is on every week with us too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, we've got about 20 stations for that, and half
Does he
a
still
dozen.
have my $7,000? Did you ask him?
What's that?
Does he still have my $7,000 that I lent him? Did you ask him?
I'll be sure to do that.
Yeah, please do. So what you're saying is I shouldn't probably get an agent to do it. I should just do it.
Just do it.
Or else I get you to be my agent and I could just pay you.
I can't take money for that, but have Andy do it. Andy's your.
Okay, why don't you and
Really
Andy talk about
plenty.
it? What did you say, Andy?
I said, I'm doing plenty in my life right now.
Oh, he doesn't.
6-month-old and a 3-year-old and producing the show. I'm
Yeah,
good.
but you could make a lot more money, Andy.
Well,
Think
if
about
it's just
that.
a matter of sending out emails, I can do that.
That's true.
Hmm.
MB
Well,
in
the other
chat.
thing to keep in mind, and I think I had a conversation, might have been with Andy about this. The way that I've structured it is
Yeah.
they're not going to pay you because
Right.
a lot of the outstate stations don't have the money. But I tell them, look, I want you to run the show. Just you have to run my commercials.
Yeah, that's what I told them.
And
Yeah,
that's
so what's
I think
wrong
it's
with
a fair
that?
Trade.
I don't have any problem with that. No,
You know,
I mean, that
you're-
makes
you're-
sense.
All of your advertisers are getting into other markets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, so maybe, okay, so Andy and Catherine, you can work together on that?
Sure.
Try.
Yeah, give it a whirl. Why don't we just be on the same stations you're on, Bob? Should I do that?
But fine with me.
We'll just, yeah, we'll do the former
I can
KT
shoot you the
personality
list of
block.
who I'm, which ones I'm on.
Yeah, we'll figure. Well, you three talk and get back to me.
All right, so
Talk
MB in the
amongst
chat
yourselves.
solved the mystery.
Catherine,
of
it's nice when you work for a big time executive. Once
Yeah.
it's like working with Elon Musk. Just get back to me, don't.
Yeah, get back to me, Coach. What were you saying, Andy?
I said MB in the chat solved the mystery of Ruth Kozlak.
Okay.
Oh, we did. Okay.
This is a different Ruth Kozlak. I was spelling it wrong.
Yeah, I don't think she.
Oh, 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 oh.
Yeah, I didn't think she was.
Koscielak. Koskielak.
Okay.
But apparently she is currently a sales specialist somewhere in St. Paul, so she's still around.
Oh,
She
good.
was on WCCO.
Yep. There you go.
On this article, it said she was 49, but it doesn't say when the article was written, so that's not
She's
super
not.
helpful.
No, she's not 49 anymore. I know she's
No.
not
No,
91
right.
and she's not
That would mean
49.
when I started in radio, she
Yeah,
was like in her teens.
but no, she's still out there.
Well, that's good.
Okay, well, jot down where they say she's
Don't
working
know
so
about
we
that.
can maybe find her.
Well, she's on
Ruth.
LinkedIn, and I don't have LinkedIn. So do either of you have LinkedIn?
I think you can just.
I can look her up later. I can't do it off my phone.
Okay.
All worked out in the end.
I gotta
Bob?
try and get rid of that double chin there. I'll put it
Yeah, there you go. Get
Yeah,
rid
isn't
of
it
that.
amazing how
Look
bad?
at
Yeah, isn't
Get
it
rid of that double
amazing how
chin.
bad
God,
you
I
can
look
look on
huge.
camera
Wait.
with the?
Where do you
Uh-oh, who's
find
that
those
now?
filters that make you look skinny?
Was there
I
somebody
need
just
one of
running out of the
those.
doctor's office? They
I
were
don't think
running out to
StreamYard
go.
has those.
Oh.
Not yet, anyway.
Well, I think they've got
Probably
the
not.
fat filter already on for me, although you can relook.
It's all true. Now, Bob, I do have to bring this up.
Yeah.
We got to talk a little sports with you today, Bob, because
Greatest
I
sport.
finally what?
It's the greatest, other than the Super Bowl, where you've got the NCAA finals tonight. You've got
Yep.
you had the NCAA women's final yesterday. You got the Masters. You've got baseball everywhere. People are excited, except in Minnesota.
Yep. Well, that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. It's about time he goes, don't you think?
Well, Tom, I don't know. I mean, I watched the first few innings, and heck, they were up 7-1. They were
7-1.
what they wind up winning 15-1 Yeah,
I think it was 9-7.
9-7.
They lost.
Yeah, they pissed that game away.
They blew a 6-run lead back. And I'm on social media with people back and forth while we're watching the game. Hey, let's bring back the light happy music, and let's bring back the voodoo chant, and let's bring it. I just figured they got this game wrapped up. They're going to be in first place because the first place team in our division is what, like 5-5 or something like
They're
that.
so lucky they're in the worst division in baseball.
They are. Yes, they are absolutely. But I'm telling you, every move he made did not work. Now, look, that means that some of the players aren't that great either. Don't get me wrong, and that's on the Pohlads, not him. But it's just
Here's the best bit of hope that they have. 90 more points, and Carlos Correa will be hitting his weight.
that's not good news now,
He's
is it?
batting 125. I didn't realize the guy's 220.
He's a big guy, yeah.
Yeah, and Buxton's batting more than he's batting. I think 215, and he's 190 or 195.
Honest to God, that team is not looking good. The hitting is not good. The pitching is
they're
just
not.
The
caving.
panic was
Yeah.
rough.
I was very pissed off at that after that game
Yeah,
yesterday,
you
Bob.
were.
I was very angry at my Twins. I still love the Minnesota Twins. They're still my favorite team on earth. They haven't won a World Series, in 34 years, I believe it is.
Well, you were even watching some preseason stuff.
I was.
Spring training,
Yes,
and
I was.
they looked horrible in spring training.
Yes, they
I mean,
did.
truth be told, they really
Yep.
looked bad. So
So what do you think the answer is, Bob? What can they do?
Well, they're not going to spend good in.
You
But
just broke up that whole thing, so say it again, will you?
they told you already they're not going to spend money to bring players in.
No, they're not.
I don't know that there's anything they can do, but hope that everybody else in the division sucks and they get lucky. But then what's lucky? Going into the postseason, getting your ass kicked?
right.
Well, and the thing about it is, nobody wants to buy the team. They want to sell a team, but nobody wants it.
I don't think they want to sell the team, Tom. I
Oh, you
think
don't really?
it's sell minority interest in the team to get back money because they have. My understanding is they have minority owners who want out, and they want to be able to replace them.
Do you know who
You
they
don't put
are?
it at 1-6 or 1-7, wherever they are, and say that you also want to, that you're looking to sell the team, and also you have 400 to 500 million in debt. That's not how you sell a team. And the kid president you got, he's probably 40 now, but saying that he wants to stay around and help run the team. Give me a-
Well, how is a major league baseball team in debt? I don't
Great
get it.
question. Because they don't. They will tell you in all likelihood is because they didn't have a TV deal and they're not selling out. They're not getting a lot of fans. Well, that's because you suck. People don't want to come out when you suck.
Right.
And you play in a crap hole city where people get concerned about their safety. It's true.
Well, that's a good
well,
point, Bob.
it's
They
true,
are.
but I mean,
You're right.
we've gone to games, you know, and when
Not
you
in the
go
last couple of
when you
years.
go to a game and there's a lot of people around, there are a lot of cops. It's safe to go to a game, in my opinion. I mean, you don't hear about people being accosted on their way into the Timberwolves games. I mean, there's just too many people for them to start doing that crap.
Rams, your chances of survival are much better.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you're parking on. You're right. There is something about safety and numbers, but
Yes.
I wouldn't go to a game if it's not a day game.
Oh,
I
God,
still
there's no way I'd go to a
would be
night.
Well,
concerned.
the night games are really nice, though. I mean, they're beautiful. That stadium is beautiful. They have all of the pieces of the puzzle. They just can't
Good team.
put it together. They just can't do it.
They got everything but a good team.
That's exactly right. Everything but a good thing.
Also,
I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I'd go to a night game in that neighborhood anymore. That makes me very, very sad.
Tom, I have a moratorium against going to Minneapolis. I've actually, since I started the
I
moratorium,
know.
5 or 6 years ago, I've gone twice. Once because my son went to a bachelor party and I didn't want him to drive, so I said, fine, I'll pick you up. He went with other friends.
Yeah.
And the other time, I went to the convention center for something related to the school board, but convention center, that's easy. You pull
Yeah,
in,
that's
you get
true.
off,
Yeah.
park right in the their ramp.
Yeah, you were just there for the golf show.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
You didn't have any problems there.
Well, that's not the convention center. Yeah. Convention center's fine. But they do have a lot of security there, too, though. I will tell you that.
They gotta.
Yep, they do. It absolutely
Well, yeah,
do.
if they want the total kiss of death in Minneapolis, they start having people that are attending these things being attacked, and it's not going to.
Yeah, no one will do
That'll
it.
be it.
Oh, the doc just killed you, Bob. There's no your camera went dead.
Well,
there's
you
a-
can hear me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
we can
hear
hear
you.
you.
You can hear me because I'm getting called now. I need to go see the doc.
All right, Bob. Well, have a magnificent day, and I hope your throat clears up. And that it was not the microphone; it was your throat.
Okay, bye.
Thanks. Bob Sansevier, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevier Sports, brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. That's MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. Andy, do we have a phone number if people want to call in? Because I am getting tons and tons and tons of messages on my watch. It looks like our numbers are really ticking up big time. It looks like, anyway, because I am getting so many messages 24 hours a day now about the show. So I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but we'll see what the deal is.
I think
But yeah,
so.
if you want to call in, what number do if they want to call in and talk about the Twins or whatever, what number is that?
Well, you can join the chat room, chatsy.com/Tom Bernard Show, or you can call 952-977-9381. The text line does not work right now because the secondary computer doesn't want to connect to the internet.
We're switching over from the partnership with Hubbard. We're taking over all the equipment part of it. They had it before, and now we're taking over all of it.
Yep.
And we're in the middle of doing that, so that's why that's happening.
Should be a new computer by tomorrow, by the next show.
That'll be good. We'll take a break here and be right back. If you want to call in, you can't text in. So, Jude, don't lick my leg.
Judy.
He wakes up, comes over, and licks my leg.
Yeah,
What a
he'll do
dope.
that.
Does things like that.
And one way or the other, we'll be back in a couple minutes right after this.
Yep.
For Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing. And people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're listening. You listen to me, you listen to Catherine, Andy, Bob Sansevier, whenever his mic works when he's at the doctor's office or whatever.
Jude snoring.
Jude snoring. Yep, no question about it. Your customers are listening to me, and they'll hear me promote your business, reach an engaged audience. I mean, that's what this is all about. Our numbers are getting bigger all the time. And by the way, thank you for that. That's wonderful. The Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners who are loyal, engaged, and ready to support businesses that they do trust. And thank you to everybody reaching out to me on X, because I love talking to you guys. And it's always 99.9% very, very positive, and I love that. And I love the proven results that, Mike Bilski from North American Bank talk about, Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant, they talk about that as well. There are several of my my clients, my advertisers that reach out and say, hey, it really works for us, and thank you. Our podcast has helped numerous businesses increase traffic, sales, and brand recognition. We're not just about ads. We are about results. Thank you.
Pardon me.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Have you ever seen a squawk steers? Well, look at mine.
Oh, by the way, I did get a text message on my watch. You ready to get started? They wanted to ask me this, so I should tell you this as well. Visit TomBernardShow.com, click on the Partner tab, and let's discuss how we can work together to grow your business. That's TomBernardShow.com. Click on the Partner tab, and we will get you more business. Uncle Tommy promises. That's a good promise, isn't it?
Yes.
Very good promise.
No question about it. So what else is happening in the world? Anything good?
I was going to ask Andy, do you have Vinny coming on anytime soon?
I have not. I don't know his contact information. I don't think I even have Tino's contact information. So.
All right, I'll try.
Oh
to
wait,
find
Vinny Tortorich. I was thinking
Yeah.
Vinny
Vinny
Lettieri. I was
I
like,
thought we were talking about Vinny Lettieri. Well, we should have him on
We
too.
probably should.
he's the Vinny I've known for my whole life.
That's
so.
You
true.
have, yeah. you're
Yes,
right.
Vinny's coming on Wednesday.
Okay. Oh,
wonderful.
good, because there's a brand new study that says that there's no LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, plaque link in keto dieters. That's a brand new thing that they've been waiting and waiting, because apparently keto dieters can have an increase in their cholesterol because they're eating nothing but basically animal fat.
Yeah.
But it is not related. There's no plaque issues. It doesn't increase your stroke risk, according to this study that everybody's been waiting for a year or
Yeah, I
more.
think Vinny's talked about how the whole LDL thing is kind of not true
yeah,
on
but
our show before.
Right, but this study is, it's pretty
Well,
conclusive.
there you go. Now he's got
Yeah.
proof.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you still have family members, Andy and Melissa's side, that are doing keto? Do they,
Yeah, her.
do they stick to it
her
for
mom and brother are still doing keto, like 4 years later, however long it's been.
really?
Yeah,
Wow,
they're
that's
still doing it.
amazing.
Yeah, yesterday we went over there and they made a pizza crust out of canned chicken, Parmesan cheese, and an egg.
How was it?
You mix it up together and then you bake it into a crust and you put your toppings on it. It's actually super good.
Really?
But talk about salt.
Oh, maybe they use canned chicken. Canned chicken is very salty.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is.
Yeah.
It's true.
So yeah, it was really, really good, but you can only have they're 12-inch pizzas and you can only have 3 slices before you're full for like 6 hours.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
We got a pizza delivered for the kids the other night, and it was the pizza was smashed into.
Yeah.
It was just. He looked like he dropped it at least 10 times. And then they had calamari, because Fani likes calamari, and the sauce was all over the calamari and all soggy. It was like, thanks.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of delivery anymore.
No,
Well,
I
yeah, I
never
agree.
just
I'm
get
not.
delivered
The
ever.
whole DoorDash thing, I don't agree with it.
Well, first of all, there's a place down here on just a couple of blocks from here, as a matter of fact.
Hot
It's called-
Pie.
Well, that's the one who smashed the pizza.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Hot pie's really good though.
2 years ago,
Oh,
we
there.
stopped ordering hot pie because it took an hour and a half for them to deliver it.
No, delivery, yeah. What Melissa and I, when we first met, we ordered Domino's, and it showed up at like 11 o'clock or something. It was like it was literally like 2 hours later, and that is the last time we ever ordered delivery anything.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do it. Well, first of all, Joseph's, just a few blocks away from here, has phenomenal pizza. It's the best pizza.
Wow.
And hot pie is good
hot,
pizza, but
hot pie is so close. If we just go over and get it
Yeah,
and
that's
bring
true.
it back, we know it's going to be
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I
a
just
much
go over
better
to Hot Pie
situation.
and pick it up.
Yeah.
you can get
Why
that
not?
done. But I just don't understand, how can you carry a pizza box? How does it get so smashed up?
He carried it sideways, clearly. He
I-
just tucked it under
I
his
guess you're right.
his arm and ran over.
How stupid are you?
Yeah, Alex uses DoorDash all the time and has great results. Every time I've tried DoorDash, it's been, you see the guy's car, right? It maps them where they
Yeah.
are. He's going, 25, 30 minutes the other way. And then he's going up north,
Yeah,
and then
it's
he's
already
going back
cold.
out west, and then he's finally headed towards your way. And it's like, this is an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can just pick the food up,
Yeah. Or
Faster
just go
than
out
you
and
can get
eat.
it.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any
and
sense.
it doesn't cost
to
me a delivery fee and a tip
Right.
to pick the food up.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of all of that stuff.
Well, see, that's the other part of it, is I used to give them big tips. I mean, I didn't just slip
Yeah.
them a quarter or something. I gave them some
Yeah, we've always
some cash.
tipped.
Yeah, we always tipped very,
Always
very
have
well.
tipped, yes.
And it didn't matter at all. He still would be an hour and a half, 2 hours down the line. And then the last one he delivers this weekend was smashed. I mean, it was inedible. It was so smashed up.
Yeah.
It looked like it had been in a car accident.
Kids don't care.
I guess they just don't care about it anymore.
They did, because it
did?
literally it was carried so badly. And like I said, this place is 3 blocks from here.
Yeah, it is.
The cheese had fallen off of the pizza
Yes.
Oh,
and was in
yes.
a big glob in the bottom of the box.
Wow.
It's like, thanks.
It does sound like he held it like the wrong way.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
he
it does.
tried. It's
Like,
like,
never seen a pizza box before. Just like, oh, this is the easiest way to hold it. I can carry it with one hand.
I don't know. But aren't they supposed to put those in those, pizza
Carriers, yeah.
carriers that keep it warm?
Yep.
You would think.
I don't know.
No doubt about it. So, Andy, what's new in your life? Anything good we should know about?
No, mostly just trying to convince Ethan that being in Minnesota isn't the worst thing that's ever happened to him.
He really wants to come back, doesn't he?
He really
What does
wishes
he say?
had stayed in Florida. He just says, "I don't want to be in Minnesota. I want to be in Florida."
Well, I promise I didn't coach him. I didn't.
It's
I
true.
didn't tell him to say these things.
Ethan, he's such a good kid. You know what I love about that kid is he's rambunctious as hell and runs around like a lunatic. But when it comes time to say goodbye, he gets very soft and gentle and kissy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's sweet in between
He's
his
a very
mania.
sweet kid.
Yeah, that's
In between the mania.
very bipolar. Yes,
Well, I suppose
he has
can.
manic episodes, and then he's like Mr. like cuddly, and
Yeah.
then he goes right back into a manic episode.
I just got a notice on my screen that said, Amazon has delivered your pizza order.
Pizza.
That's literally just, how is there any way to bring that message back up?
Amazon delivered a pizza.
That's what they're claiming. Now, where
I don't think I'd buy a
That would be
pizza.
on your email. That wasn't a.
it appeared right here.
You don't
it
have a
popped up.
touch. I know, but you don't have a touch screen. That's just a notification that you got an email.
Oh, so it'd be, let me look at it. Well, do you think somebody ordered a pizza for us and had it sent over? Would
be
that be
very
under
fast.
Gmail?
I don't know.
I don't know. We've been talking about pizza for like 15 minutes at this point. Maybe someone will
That's
buy you a pizza.
hilarious.
Let's see what happens
Let
if
me
I
see if I
search
can-
pizza on Amazon.
Yeah,
Let's
I don't
see.
think
You can buy
pizza-
frozen pizzas on Amazon. Free
That's
2-hour
true,
delivery.
but-
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. You can get a Red Baron pizza, or you can get this stuffed emotional support pizza.
Emotional
What?
support. What is that?
I am going to
What's an
try-
emotional support pizza?
I'm going to bring it up on the screen in about a minute.
Just a few seconds.
Yes.
We'll be good to go. I don't see the notification, but it did pop up on my screen. It said that your Amazon has delivered your pizza, but I can't find it on my phone anywhere. I don't know what that's all about. And by the way,
Hallucinated it.
stop threatening me. You're gonna cancel my business. There's this one business that keeps claiming, well, if you don't send your bill in, your money in today, it's
I know.
like that's all phony crap, isn't it?
Yes,
it
almost
is.
all of it. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
God, what is that?
Emotional, support, pizza.
That's not really, so it's just all
It's just little
pillows?
stuffed,
Yeah.
stuffed pizza.
little pillows?
slices,
You
yeah.
can lay down on it for emotional
And
support. I don't know.
Where do you get that?
You can buy it on Amazon. If
All
you
right, well,
really
see, there
want.
you go. So I don't know why
you can
that.
also get a circular, gigantic blanket that looks like a pizza. You get party balloons that look like pizza. So yeah, he's plenty of choices for pizza.
There
on
you go.
Amazon.
By the way, I will still be watching my Twins. Yeah, they're pissing me off. And I fought for this guy for a couple of years, maybe more. How long has Baldelli been around? I don't even know. A few years. Rocco Baldelli. He's a manager of the Minnesota Twins.
Baldelli.
We got to make a move across the board. I would think we need. And first of all, the team needs to go out and get some players. They got some good players, but a lot of them are not very good.
He's been managing the Twins since 2019.
Well, we watched.
6 years.
So you watched all of it, and they went into extra innings, and our bullpen.
Yeah.
After I don't know which they brought them all out because they were playing for so long. All of the pitchers.
The
Came out.
two last pitchers, one
Yeah.
threw 2 pitches and gave up a double, and
Yeah.
and the new guy came in through 1 pitch, which was a 2-run homer.
Yeah.
So
So
it's like,
that's not
okay.
good.
No, that's not good at all. And I love my Twins. I love the Vikings too. There's no question about it. I don't know as much about basketball and hockey. I used to be a big University of Minnesota basketball fan, but that team's been terrible for years. So you bring them back, and I'll watch them again. But the Twins overall, and like I said, I love the Vikings, and they're not that far behind. I got a scam now. They're going to deliver your pizza. Now look at this. Scam likely. Somebody's trying to scam me into paying for their pizza, I think is what this is all about. But in any case, I just can't support the guy. The guy's been around for 6 years, hasn't won a damn thing. And it's not all his fault. That's not what I'm saying. It is not all his fault. The ownership doesn't spend any money on the team. These are multi-billionaires, and they don't spend any money on the team, which I'm not wild about. But it's time to move on to another manager. Just get some new thoughts in there or whatever. And I don't know if anybody even take the job because they're not going to spend enough money to win.
Nope.
So what do you do about if the owner won't spend enough money to win, and you're the manager? What are you supposed to do?
Well, what you do is you take a ragtag group of baseball players who are terrible, and then you do an 80s montage, and then you win the World Series.
I like it. Well, that's what happened in '87.
That's what happens in movies. So, I mean, why didn't it work in real life?
And again, I was very, very excited during the first 7, 8 innings of that game, and then came the 9th and 10th innings, and I wasn't so excited anymore. They lost a 6-run lead. They were up 7-1 in the late innings and got crushed.
I didn't even
9-7.
10th inning.
Well, it's when it's tied. You got to go to extra innings.
Can you just go infinitely?
You would go infinitely if you stay tied. Yeah.
You do like the 30th inning.
Yeah, it could happen. I don't know if it ever has happened, but it could.
Let's see. Most innings ever in an MLB game. May 1st, 1920, they had 26 innings. A 1-1 tie for 26 innings.
Can you imagine when there's anybody left in the stands? It's
would
1-1.
There's no way anybody stayed for all.
I wouldn't think so.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah, you're probably right. We'll take a quick break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. South Dakota is one of the most business-friendly states in the country. And there's no better place to settle down and take advantage of those incentives than in Sioux Falls, as the state's largest city with a metro population over 290,000. Sioux Falls is low business costs with a high quality of life. There's no state, corporate, or personal income tax. There's no inheritance tax and no limits to what your business can achieve. Sioux Falls, South Dakota was recently ranked the #1 best small city for business and careers by Forbes, the #2 best state business for tax climate by the Tax Foundation, and the #5 top state for e-commerce by Nexus. As one of the Midwest's fastest growing cities, Sioux Falls is a robust, growing job market. No matter where you're at in your career, we have an opportunity waiting for you. Our city's tax-friendly climate and strong workforce don't go unrecognized. Forbes named Sioux Falls one of the top small cities for business and careers each of the last 15 years. In 2020, Sioux Falls also ranked as the #4 best city for young professionals. How does South Dakota stack up against other states? We rank second in the nation for the lowest cost of doing business, the most business-friendly state, and the best business tax climate. And as South Dakota's biggest city, Sioux Falls is at the center of these benefits. Now is the perfect time to make your move to Sioux Falls. Visit SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
We can make it so long.
We're back after a week down at Andy and his family came down. Alex and her family came down. Yeah, I want to spend the last, 10 minutes of the show or whatever talking a little bit about that. How important that is to your mother and me when you guys all come down. Everybody got along so well. That's got to be pretty rare when you get, you get 10 people together from 3 different families. There was no hubbub, no butting heads, no being pissed off at each other. That was very, very nice.
I think everybody's at a good age.
Well, that might have something to do with it too. Yeah.
I think everybody's. I mean,
Once
the kids
Alex's
are
kids are teenagers, it's going to be different.
You think Fawn will ruin everything?
Well, Fawn just could not keep her hands off of Colin.
Oh, she loves Colin.
She was just like, I'm taking him. She didn't want any help. She wanted to be by herself with him.
She did, yes.
She wanted to talk to him and coochie coo. She got him to laugh. I mean,
She did, yeah.
Yeah, those two are thick as thieves. I find them in the daybed out on the balcony just talking, and it was really cute.
Yep.
I know. See, that
Yeah.
whole deal, if you don't have a family yet and you want to have a family someday, I hope you're in, and I'll use the word blessed. I hope you're blessed the way we were, because I will never get over, it was a 10-day period. Andy came first, then we were all together in the middle, and then Alex's family stayed an extra 3 days after that. But for 3.5, 4 days, we were all in together. No arguing, no fussing, no fighting, no being a jerk. It was very, very pleasant.
It was, except for Andy.
For Andy, what did Andy do?
Andy was like exasperated with Ethan a lot.
God, yeah, he was.
Well, he's just like, he's a very busy bee.
Yep.
He's got a lot of energy. Let's,
Only thing
let's
that
be
makes
honest
him
about it.
stop is if he's playing a video game or watching TV.
Sounds like you when you were little.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's like if you want him to stop and just calm down and be quiet, you got to give him something to play or watch, because otherwise he's just going to be getting into everything and constantly.
does.
Well,
doing things.
well, when he was at the pool and the beach and stuff, he was having a riot. I mean,
He was.
if he's engaged in something, the problem that I had when you were little, you were the same way. Is you would try to spend, quality, quiet time with a kid like that. And so you drag out all the, the Play-Doh and the colors and all this stuff, and they want to do it for 13 seconds, and then they're over it.
That's how Ethan
And
is.
then they want to go do another thing, and then another thing, and another thing. It's like, oh my God, you can't really play with them.
No.
Like, you never liked toys.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, Ethan, I mean, like, he likes his toys, but he has 10,000 of them because each one keeps his attention for like a minute.
Yeah. See, where Sage will actually sit down and play with his cars for hours. I mean, it's just a difference in busy kids. I mean, that's why it's good to put them in some sort of sport or karate or something.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And the one thing we should mention is that Alex's kids are a couple of years older than Andy's kids. You got Fawn at 8, you got Sage at 6, then you got Ethan at 3.5, then you got Colin, who's a newborn, who's 7 months old now?
As of today, yes.
Yeah.
7 months old, yep, as of today.
Yeah, and Sage at 6 is now much easier to deal with.
Oh, God, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But the other thing there was that worked out so well. The last time they had come down, Sage ended up in the hospital because he got got a pneumonia or something?
Yeah, he had pneumonia, an ear infection, and some other. It was
tough.
Yeah.
Sad times.
Yeah, it was not fun.
But then when it was time to go, I remember just standing there, and I asked Ethan to come over to me, and the look on his face is like, "What do you mean we're leaving? I don't want to." He did not want to leave.
It didn't really hit him until the day after, when he woke up in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and it's cute how little kids at 3 and 4 and even maybe 5, because we used to do a lot of Airbnbs down when my parents lived in Arizona, and we'd go down and visit them. Twice a year I'd go down for around my mom's birthday, around my dad's birthday, and we'd drag the little kids with us, and so we stayed at a lot of Airbnbs. And how fun would our new house, I don't want to leave our new house.
Yep, that's how Ethan is.
We
Ethan
live
is-
here now.
Yeah. His new thing is listing off the address of the place that we stayed.
Oh, is it?
Or at least
Oh,
the house
really?
number. Yeah.
He does?
Oh, yeah. He's like, I want to go back to 201.
Oh, that's right. He said that in front of me.
Yeah.
I want to go back to 201. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly what he was talking about.
Mhm.
Well,
But
you had
yeah.
that little courtyard with some, basketball and
Yeah.
stuff. That
He
was
played
always
with kids and stuff.
that
But I
was
mean,
fun
like
for
he
him.
played with a kid at the park yesterday.
Yeah,
We
that's
got to the
wonderful.
park, and yeah, there was this couple. They looked maybe slightly older than us, maybe, and they had 4 boys. They were like 8, 5, 2, and 1 or something like that. So it's a lot
There
of
you
energy.
have it.
Yeah, and Ethan played. He of course gravitated toward the oldest boy, who was 8.
Oh,
'Cause that's what Ethan does.
interesting.
Ethan loves older kids.
Huh? I wonder why.
I think it's because they can do things that he can't, and also because they're more patient. Because I
Oh,
mean, like
Yeah.
3-year-olds have 0 patience or tolerance for anything,
That's
and
true.
so it's like even though he's that way, he also doesn't like it that other kids are also that way.
Oh, I've been asking Andy, by the way, on Mondays if you would run down the guest list because they always want to know who's going to be on later on because they have to kind of plan out their schedule to listen to the show throughout the week.
Well, it's going to be Vinny on Wednesday. We were
Vinny
going
just
to have a special guest on Thursday, but she had to change. I think she's going to be on the 24th now.
what are her initials?
Dad doesn't
I
like
don't know
surprises.
anymore.
Oh,
You don't know anymore because you got married or something?
Well, kind of.
Okay, we're going to find out who Andy's even talking about.
I know who it is.
Oh, really? Because I don't know who it is. We'll have to
Do
figure
we
that.
want to just say it, or do we want to keep it a secret for the audience?
When are they going to be on?
I don't think it matters really.
You don't think it matters? Oh, well, it's going to be Brittany.
Oh, Britt's coming on. That's right.
Yes,
Brittany.
she was going to be on Thursday, but then she had to get a root canal.
Ah,
Yeah.
in her brain.
Yes. A
That's
root
not
canal
fun.
in your
I've
brain.
had-
No,
Brain
I've,
canal.
I've
I
had
had one of
several root
those.
canals, and yeah, no.
I had one.
Brittany started working with me at KQRS when she was 21 years old, I think. That's
Yeah,
about right.
sounds
isn't it?
about right.
She's about 21, but she's a dear friend of the family. She's doing well over at My Talk with Hubbard, doing a really good job. She's got her own show with another woman.
Good for her.
They're doing very, very well. So it'll be great to have Brittany on the show, as a matter of fact. We should probably reach out to some of the other people on the shows at Hubbard, too, because they're some very, very nice people. No question about that.
I'm doing what I can. I've reached out to several people, but a lot of people want to come in when you are back in town.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Well, I'll be back in 6 weeks. Actually, I'll be back for a couple of shows. Oh, will we be back for any shows in April?
What days are you going to be here?
April 30th to May 5th.
Well,
so-
yeah, I mean, that's, well, if you're going to be coming in on the 30th and leaving on the 5th,
No,
Then-
we will be. Oh, hold on. Our
then yes, you'll be here for
flight
2
is-
shows, the 1st and the 2nd.
Okay, good.
I think we leave on a Friday, so we're not going to be doing the show that day because we can't
Right.
get
You're
down
leaving on
to
the
Fort
2nd?
Lauderdale. And then, oh, that's not right. 30th?
Apparently, we don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to go
We'll
on
figure it out later.
my Delta app and figure
But
out
no,
when
we
our
should get
flights
the
are.
we should get the My Talk morning show on. And we should get the KS95 show on. They're very, very nice people. We can get them on the show. I can't be on their shows because it's a female audience, which I've never understood. A lot of my listeners are female, and
True.
for some reason they just don't think I should be on a female show.
Sexist?
Just
Yeah, isn't
pretend
that
to
sexist?
Sexist
pretend to
much?
be gay.
Yeah, maybe that'll work out.
It would be better for
All right,
you.
well, so we got some good people coming up this
Oh,
week.
great.
Britt's coming
um,
up not this week, but next week.
Yeah, no, Vinny is going to be on Wednesday. I'm going to try
Vinny's
to get
great.
some on. Paul Lambert was going to be on next Thursday. I bet I could get him on this Thursday.
He was going to be on the 17th, I think.
Yes.
Wasn't he?
But I can
Yeah.
probably fill that.
He's got to swap.
I think he's on vacation this week.
Oh, is he?
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think he
never mind.
is. He's another guy I've known. I've known Paulie since he was 16 years old. He worked at the cigar shop I used to go to many, many years ago. I haven't had a cigar now in about 20 years, so that's been a while. They put it that
Oh,
way.
that's true. I remember you stopped when we moved to Golden Valley. You started doing those like e-cigars or whatever for a while.
Yeah, that didn't
Didn't
last.
last
Then he got
terribly
screaming headaches from cigars, so he stopped smoking.
So I just had. So that was what? That's 20 years
20
ago.
years
maybe?
ago, almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20 years. I haven't had a cigar in 20 years, so it's been a while. I think that shop is still open, though, I think.
What was it called?
Cigar Jones
Cigar Jones.
in Minnetonka.
Find out. Cigar Jones, Minnetonka. It appears to be.
Yeah, it's still open because it was
There you
opened
go.
by a guy from North Minneapolis. That's why I went out there.
And then there was
Everyone, go take up smoking.
There you go.
That's what we're saying.
There was the one in St. Paul too.
Yeah, one in St. Paul too.
was that one
But I
called?
got kicked out of that. No, I got kicked out of the one in downtown Minneapolis. There's some big guy. Yeah, there's some. They wanted me to join, so I went over there and got a little cupboard or whatever you get to hold your cigars
Locker?
in. Yeah, kind of a locker, I suppose it is. But then some big shot a-hole, far left nut job found out I was going to be there, so he threatened to quit unless they kicked me out.
Oh, well then.
Do you think people will ever get over their extreme political? Look, I don't care if
No.
you're a Democrat or a Republican or a centrist or whatever. I got no problem. You extremists on both sides, kiss my living ass. You people are disgusting. Seriously, on both sides, far left and far right. It's
I
like, why don't you be a little more extreme, for God's sake?
I know it's almost comical at this point because
It is,
you
yeah.
open up Twitter and everybody's the economy has crashed. We're all going to die.
Yep,
Nobody has any money. Everybody that has a pension is now dead. They're
Yep,
starving to death
I
in the
know.
streets. It's like the little bit of a hit that the market took was
I know.
nothing compared to 2021. 2020, 2022.
No,
Are
that's
you
right.
kidding me with this? That we're all going to die, but that was just fine. Nobody said a word during Biden's administration. When
Yeah, I've been
they-
seeing people online. There's like 40-year-old men being like, "Should I cash out my 401k and just
I
take
know.
the tax hit?" It's like,
I know.
I mean, the market would literally have to zero out for that tax hit to be worth it.
I know, but it's just unfortunate. I mean, even during the Great Depression, which everybody, I've got this one brother who is a extremist on the left side, and he took out all his money from an IRA.
Oh God.
Yep, and he's so grateful because it saved him so much money already because of the stock market tanking. I'm like, you do know that? Oh, and this is going to be, it's going to be the Great Depression, according to
Of course
him.
it
Or
is.
is it?
Well, what's interesting is even though there was a Great Depression and it was a terrible thing and a lot of people lost everything, the market did come back.
Yeah, and it didn't take that long either.
And it didn't take that long.
No, it
so
did
if
not, you're
everybody
right.
could just stop using politics
Scare
for
tactics.
everything.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And nobody really can predict what's happening with the tariffs, what it's going to do to the market.
No, it could be great. It could be terrible. It could do nothing.
Well,
It's-
and if you look at what Trump is doing, he's negotiating. I think something like 30 countries now have come to the table negotiating with the tariffs.
yeah.
Things are better for 30 countries' commerce because of what's going on. Because he actually, sometimes you just have to threaten people before you get them to take action.
Yeah.
However,
That's true.
I mean,
the
like I
Nintendo
said,
Switch 2 is being delayed thanks to the tariffs. So
No, is that right?
Ethan will be devastated.
He will not like
Except he
that.
doesn't know that the Nintendo Switch 2 exists, but still.
oh, okay. Well,
We're
like I
not
said,
going to
we'll
tell him
see.
about the Switch 2 until he's old enough to find out
Right.
about it by himself.
Right.
He's got Yoshi. He's got, Mario. He's good.
We'll close with this, and I won't identify who told me the story. You wouldn't know who he was anyway, but I still don't want to throw him under the bus. But a friend of mine, I won't even say what city they were in. Doesn't matter. They were in a restaurant, and they're sitting across from a young white couple at the restaurant. They weren't with them at the same table, but there was a table of 10 African Americans, 10 black people, sitting there having dinner. And the young white woman went up to their table and said, I just had to come over because all of you black people at this table are so beautiful and so handsome. You're such wonderful. It's like,
Gross.
you do know that these black people are telling you to kiss their living ass under their breath. You do know that, don't you, sister?
Well, isn't that kind of?
Good.
I don't even know what to think about that. I mean,
That, to
it's
me, is
always
racism.
nice. It's always nice to be told how great you are.
Yeah, true.
But on the other hand, it's like it's very cringy
Oh,
in
yeah.
a way too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know. I guess it depends on how you view false intentions. I guess I don't know.
guess.
I don't know. Maybe she had pure intentions. I don't know what the. It just seems creepy to me.
Would you trust somebody who came over to the table? Oh, you're all so wonderful and handsome
Well,
and just gorgeous.
I was playing chess with Sage in the outdoor park
Mm-hmm.
across from Johann Joe,
Mm-hmm.
and a woman came by and said how wonderful we were.
Well, see, but that's
So I
grandma
guess
and a
I don't know.
grandchild.
I don't know.
Well, it's
Is it-
kids, though. I told you that story about I was at the the grocery store, and I kept getting stopped by people because we have a double stroller, but I only had Ethan with me because Colin was napping. And everyone was always like, "Oh, where's the other one? How old's this one? How old's the other one?" Et cetera, et cetera. People love kids, especially it seems like in Florida.
Oh God, yes, absolutely.
People are
Well-
big fans of kids in Florida.
Yeah, and we're in a downtown area, so you don't see a ton of kids. But so
That's
when you do see
true.
'em, yeah.
Depending on
there,
where you go.
there are kids, but there's not a ton of them.
If you go to that, what is it called? City Place again?
Yeah, it
I
is,
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to the little
Get a
splash
City
pad,
Place, you can find some kids.
You
They're all
can
playing,
find
and yeah.
That's true.
All right, we'll close with this. You guys did such a wonderful job today. You look so handsome and so pretty, and you just did such.
Finally, we're being recognized for the assets that we are.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talk in my door.